Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Horror Normal. I'm Kaz Van D. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome back everybody to the channel. I'm Kaz Van D and this is Horror Normal. First up, I want to apologise. Somehow today, for some reason, it looks like I have really bad bags under my eyes. Been sleeping okay, so I don't understand it. And I know it doesn't bother any of you guys out there, but it kind of bothers me. Anyways, just gonna have to live with the fact that I'm carrying baggage today. Look at that. I haven't got a black eye, guys. Look, I swear. Weird. Anyway, welcome back to the channel, guys. Like I said, this is Horror Normal and I am Kaz Van D. Before we delve into this final episode on female serial killers, I would like to thank everybody for their support so far during this journey of mine. Everybody, you all know who you are out there who have been supporting me on Instagram. I've just started going on TikTok. I'll leave the link in the description down below. I'll try and leave my Instagram link as well, and you guys can follow me on there. Yeah, like I said, I'm Kaz Van D. I started this channel earlier on in the year, and the aim of this is to share horrific events with you that have happened through time, including things like true horror stories. There is nothing better to me than a true harrowing horror story. Okay, and I've got some good ones coming up. Also, obviously we're going to have a look at the genre horror in general as well. We'll be looking at some classics and comparing them to the modern day horror films and seeing which guys, which ones are your favourites and things like that. So we're going to do that in the future. Also in the future aim to produce paranormal videos if I can. Going to start going out about again once I've sorted all my equipment out and get back into that again. Yeah, fingers crossed can capture some paranormal proof. That would be awesome. Talking about paranormal proof, I would like to give a massive shout out to MJC Paranormal. This guy is fantastic, and he seems to me like such a sweetheart as well. Yeah, they're always going out to very cool destinations, and I've actually managed to capture what I consider to be proof of the paranormal. Yep. I don't want to miss anything out, so hang on. Yeah, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can go and sub to their channel. If you remember, on the first episode, we looked at Gish Marguerite Gottfried. Okay, now she was Germany's first female serial killer. She killed between 1813 and 1837. Wow. And was said to be the world's first female serial killer. But on episode 3, part 1, we looked at Gail, can't pronounce her name, Italian lady, Gail Tofana, who invented the famous poison aqua tofana, and she was a murderess in the early 16th century. Okay, In episode 2, we looked at America's first female serial killer, Lavina Fisher. Lavina. And her husband, John Fisher, who murdered in the 1800s. She was actually born in 1793 and murdered innocent travellers with her husbands. We then looked at Mary Ann Cotton, who was the UK's first female serial killer. She murdered over 21 people in the 1800s. So she was born 31st of October 1832 and was executed on the 24th of March 1873. And although she was only convicted for the one murder, it was actually implied that she had murdered over 21 people, including, wait for it, 11 of her 13 children. So, I think now we should take a look at some more modern day female serial killers. So let's head on over to America and take a look at a woman that, I don't know, would you feel sorry for her? Or does she not deserve any sympathy at all? Her name is, you might have already guessed it, Aileen Wuornos. So let's take a look at the film based on Aileen Wuornos. It was called Monster. Let's take a look.
When I was little, I had a lot of dreams. And I was always secretly looking for who was gonna discover me. Was it this guy? Or maybe this one? You never knew. I lived that way for a long, long time, dreaming like that. But one day it just stopped.
I'm kind of broke right now, so I'm just trying to make some cash somehow.
Well, maybe I can help you out.
By the time I met Selby Wall, all I wanted was a beer.
Can I buy you that drink?
I got my own money.
I'm just trying to talk to someone. Do you want to stay with me?
Who was that person?
She's just a friend I made.
I think she was a street person.
Hey, lady love, you need a ride?
Can I ask you a question? Are you a prostitute?
Hey man, don't go too far.
I just want a little privacy.
30 straight up.
You girls, you know, I love them and I hate them.
Where'd you get this car?
I just borrowed it.
Life is funny. It's also strange how things can be so different than you think.
You okay?
I got everything going for me. I'm not a bad person. I'm a real good person.
Police urge anyone with any information about these crimes to contact your local authorities.
Lee killed that man.
What do you think? You're never gonna understand it, so you gotta trust me. I got it under control, man. She's all screwed up. I was raped and BJ was gonna get killed.
You can't kill people.
Says who? He knew.
No.
Selby.
This is your deal. They're coming for us.
They got nothing. They're not even looking. There's a whole world of people killing and raping, but I am the only one killing them. Oh God, I'm sorry. People like me and you go down every day. The thing no one ever realized about me was that I could train myself into anything.
Powerful stuff. Now let's take a look at the real life Aileen when she was alive. She was executed on October the 9th, 2002 Lee Wuornos was executed by lethal injection at Florida State Prison. Do you think her execution was justified? Let's take a look. This is from 60 Minutes, the program on American TV. This is, again, not my own clip. Let's take a look now at this from 60 Minutes.
The dark woods off Florida's highways. It was down dirt roads like this that 7 men met the madness of one angry woman. Lee Wuornos murdered them, robbed them, and then drove home in their cars.
Those men were shot, just shot in self-defense, boom, boom, boom. You know, they weren't cut up, they weren't sliced up, no OJ jazz, you know. And he said, I did the most horrendous crime in the whole wide world.
Not true?
I guess not. All they were was shot and left. If it was a horrendous crime, why didn't I shoot them between the eyes, cut their penis off, stick it in their mouth, you know, do all kinds of gross stuff? All they were was shot and left, you know?
She's been called the damsel of death and the hooker from hell. But embellishment aside, the story of history's first female serial killer is macabre enough, even without its supporting cast of characters.
Oh, yes, I'm a public defender.
First, there's Lee Wuornos's lawyer. She's given him the job of getting her to the electric chair.
If you want to plead out, that's what I'm all about. Just sign this no contest plea.
Then there's the serial killer's new mother. She first met Lee after her arrest and then legally adopted her.
Sheba. You know, we believe in the Holy Spirit, and so we feel it was him prompting us that this person really needed help, and she had nobody, and just reach out to her. So we did.
I met her in a bar.
And there's Lee's gay lover, who betrayed her to the police.
We were sitting on the floor watching TV, and she just come out and said, I have something to tell you. And I asked her what, and she said that she had shot and killed a man that day.
Lee, it sounds like you've been betrayed by everyone.
That's right, I was. That's why I don't care if I'm executed and leave this planet.
If anyone was destined to end up here on death row, it was probably Lee Wuornos. Psychologists sketch a portrait of a damaged person with a lurid history of abuse that began in childhood. Abandoned by her teenage mother when she was just 6 months old, Lee was raised by her alcoholic grandmother and a cruel grandfather who regularly beat her with his belt buckle. When she was 2, her father committed suicide in jail, where he was doing time for kidnapping and raping a child. By 13, she'd been raped and was pregnant. At 14, she quit school. And when her grandfather kicked her out of home, Lee Wuornos' life on the road began. From age 15, Lee Wuornos worked prostitution's lowest and most dangerous trade. A hitchhiking hooker turning tricks from exit to exit on Florida's interstate highways.
Basically, I'd say I have 5 to 6 guys per day interested. They could be interested in 30, they could be interested in 40, they could be interested for 100. I wasn't too high priced, so I could keep the customers satisfied and, you know.
That all changed when she turned 33. After years of abuse and degradation at the hands of men, Lee Wuornos started evening the score. The killings all began like this. A middle-aged man pulled over to pick up Lee Wuornos. That's the first of just 2 facts on which everyone agrees. The way Lee tells it, she was just a hooker trying to turn a trick, and the men knew it. But the state of Florida maintains she tricked her victims by posing as a damsel in distress. The men thought they were helping her out. Either way, the second fact on which everyone agrees is that Lee Wuornos shot them dead. Maybe you were just born bad. How do you...
Boy, I don't know about you. I'm telling you, man. No, I wasn't born bad. You guys got it. See, I'm trying to tell you, man, they lied. They lied so bad to you all.
But you've been convicted of killing 7 men.
Everybody's looking at the number.
Does that not... You
I
killed
look at the
7
number.
men, 7 strangers. Does that not make you a serial killer?
So I didn't kill them every day, did I? Did I go out there every day and say, I'm gonna kill? If I did, there would
Well,
be
no,
hundreds.
it took you 12 months.
Yeah, and that's a hell of a lot of men I went through before the next jerk came along, and I used protection, like a condom.
So it was
From AIDS.
It was self-defense.
Yeah.
Lee, the first one, perhaps. The second, maybe. But
So what?
7 times?
So what?
Lee Wuornos began the last day of her miserable life on the road here, ordering her first beer at 11 in the morning. Close to broke, as usual, it was Lee's style to hustle quarters for the jukebox so she could listen to her favourite song. On this day, that was made easier by 2 undercover cops. They struck up a conversation with her, bought her some more beer, and then convinced her to step outside. Lee was prepared for anything but the 6 Florida police officers who arrested her. It was from this point the story of the first female serial killer becomes truly perplexing. First, her videotaped confession. "Go ahead and put the electric chair to me. I should have never done it," she told police. But by the time of her trial, Lee was pleading self-defense.
She loved you, didn't she?
Yes?
She said she'd do anything for you, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Her case wasn't helped when Tyria Moore, now very much her ex-lover, turned star witness for the prosecution.
And in order for her to say what you wanted her to, you lied to her, right?
Yes.
But it gets worse. Tyria had another deal going with the arresting police. They were trying to sell Hollywood the movie rights to Lee Wuornos's life and crazy times.
Why did you lie to her about those number of things?
Because I wanted her to keep talking about the offenses so I would be cleared.
District Attorney Rick Ridgway is one of the only officials willing to talk about the Wuornos case anymore. The police certainly won't, out of sheer embarrassment.
There was a tremendous amount of almost frenzy about the case, and everybody wanted to get a scoop on the next guy about the case, and there were so many people who were willing to pander to that in order to be the one who gets quoted or who gets the movie made about them.
People from your own sheriff's office?
Well, unfortunately, yes, they did.
As the prosecutor, were you dismayed by that?
Well, to put it mildly, we went through the roof when we found out about it.
In the end, it was only the producers of this American TV movie who were able to cash in on Lee's story. Tyria and the police's conspiracy to get rich quick came to nothing once they were caught. But that hasn't stopped Lee Wuornos suspecting that someone, somewhere, wants to exploit her name.
It's making me get bitter, evil, angry. I've never been before in my life. Worse than even out there with those men. This is evil, what those people have done to me.
Do you feel anger or even hatred towards men?
I never hated men, but now I do. I mean, not all. I have a category. I hate those male... God. I hate those male cops. Real bad, because they're dirtballs. The cops, the judges, the lawyers, they're all male.
I have made peace with my Lord, and I have asked forgiveness.
The final twist in this already mad tale was when Lee Wuornos decided to plead no contest to the remaining 6 murder charges.
I sentence you in case number 91-463 to death for the murder of Troy Burris.
Her lawyer, Steve Glazer, found himself in the bizarre position of helping his client take the express route to the electric chair.
County case number, I sentence you to death for the murder of David Spears.
Thank you. And probably see, I'll be up in heaven while y'all are rotting in hell.
In effect, though, weren't you trying to kill your client?
It's not what I was trying to do, okay? It's what she wanted to have done to her. She was tired of being in the spotlight. She was tired of reporters and police and lawyers, everyone making a career off of her. She did not like the man-hating killer label. She didn't like the lesbian killer angle. She didn't like what people were saying about her. And she knows if she has to go to trial 5 more times, she's going to be for the next 10 years.
Do you still believe she was competent to make that decision?
Without a doubt.
Okay, there will be an automatic appeal. You have the right to an appeal. Mr. Glazer, is that going to be handled by you
May
or the
your
public
wife and
defender?
kids get raped.
I would ask that you would appoint the public office.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender's office to handle the appeal. There's one other thing that I want to say that I think needs to be said.
I know I was raped, and you weren't nothing but a bunch of scum.
Therefore, these proceedings are now
Putting
concluded.
somebody who was raped to death.
Do you still want the chair?
There's no sense in having me tormented for the rest of my life when I don't deserve to be tormented. I did what anybody else would do. And so there's only clemency or the chair. You make your pick, people, because that's the only way it's going to be.
Why did you adopt Lee Wuornos?
For one reason and one reason only. We wanted her to know what it felt like to be part of a family.
Born-again Christian Arlene Prowley has a fondness for adopting stray animals. When she adopted Lee, she planned a life together on her farm. Now she'd be happy just to keep her alive.
That's it. Okay, that's about enough. There you go.
Well, tell me this, how did you counsel Lee?
I told her to go for the life in prison. I told her that that would be the best. I told her that God could use her within the prison to help other girls that were hurting, maybe didn't have a relationship with Jesus, and that she could really be used mightily there. And we fought bitterly over it. She said that no human being had the right to tell another human being what to do with their life.
Stop the murders, deter the crimes away.
Not much phases the singing lawyer Steve Glazer. Not the 3 heart attacks he's suffered since taking on this case, nor the criticism he's endured for seeking Lee Wuornos's execution.
And a rich man's never died upon the chair.
Has this case been good for your career?
No. But that's life, you know, you take oblada, life goes on, you try something else.
Is there anyone in this cast of characters who isn't a little bit crazy, a little bit eccentric?
I think you gotta be a little wild to be in this business.
If Steve Glazer has done his job, Lee Wuornos could be executed in this chair within 3 years. She's waived her right to appeal.
If he hears no last-minute stays from the governor's office, the electrode then is placed on top of the inmate's head. It's an actual cap with an electrode inside. It's secured onto his head. One of these electrodes here is then fastened onto the top of the headpiece.
Alone and lost in her own nightmare, Lee Wuornos is an American horror story. She could escape death row, but her bitterness and hate will see Lee become the first woman in over a century to be executed in Florida. Aren't you afraid?
No, I'm not afraid. I know where I'm going. I'm going to be with the Lord.
Thank you,
Take
too.
care of yourself and tell everybody I said hi.
Do you want to die? You want to?
Oh man, if I was to leave this planet, it wouldn't be no big deal to me, because this is a wicked, wicked world. Wicked world.
Hello,
Powerful,
I'm Alison
powerful.
Langdon. Thanks for watching.
Wow.
To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you
don't know what to
subscribe
say,
to
really,
our
after that.
channel.
It's
You
very
can also
powerful, isn't
download
it?
the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.
So we need to really look at all the facts. I hope that you enjoyed the clip there from 60 Minutes. Obviously we just looked at Monster, the film that was made, and then in 60 Minutes they showed you the original Overkill that was made out of first. It's pretty sad, I think. Obviously it's sad for the victims. It's sad that people wanted to profit off all the misery, basically. That they went after her in Hollywood films and all these things and stuff like that. I don't know if I always agree with things like that. I don't know, what do you guys think? You know, what do you think of that? I think it is pretty powerful. Her upbringing, I feel, is a contributing element to the why. You know, why she did it. Had she developed such a hatred to men that she felt that she had no choice but to kill them? Many people think robbing them is bad enough, but if she had just robbed them and not killed them, would this story be different? You know? Like, it's bad enough to do those things, but if you're really on your arse, kind of like, so to speak, and all you've ever known is your behaviour, your sexual behaviour, deviancy, and how to get money off men and things. Like, she could have been raped a couple of times for all those. It's a very dangerous world out there, this street prostitution, street walking. It's very dangerous. Let's have a look at some of the facts then, before we, you know, come to a decision on this. So, Eileen was born Eileen Carol Wernos. She got nicknamed Lee. Eileen Lee. She was born February 29th, 1956 in Rochester, Michigan. Let's talk about her father. That was mentioned, wasn't it? Let's talk about her father, who was convicted of child molestation just after her birth, and a few years later killed himself in prison, obviously riddled with guilt there. Werner's mother had abandoned her and her brother when they were very young, and then her grandparents, Eileen's grandparents, her mother and father's parents, took her and her brother in. And childhood friends said that Eileen's grandfather had beat her and her grandmother was an alcoholic. So are these all contributing factors? Excuse me. But there's a lot of people out there who unfortunately have these really harsh, super quick upbringings. They don't become killers. You know, they're obviously emotionally messed up and tormented for their lives, and they've gone through a traumatic experience, but they don't always become killers. So what does push these people just over the edge? That is it, just a little bit push, and a little bit more, and you snap? I do not know. Well, at age 11, Eileen began trading sexual favours for things like money, beer, cigarettes. She had her only child at 14, which is really quite young. The neighbours claims the father was an older friend of Wernos' grandfather. A flipping old man. Nice. So soon after that, it became apparent that she was spending more time away from home, either living in the woods or hitchhiking around the country, often under assumed names as well. So she used different aliases while she was travelling around. She was 14 when her family kicked her out of her house and she became homeless. So knowing only her sexual behaviours and trading sexual favours for money or beer and other things, I feel that she probably felt that she had no choice but to prostitute herself to get by in life, that she had no real education or a sustainable job. She probably felt, a little bit out of her reach after knowing these things and seeing the movie and a true life story on 60 Minutes, and all the other channels and all the things that I've watched on her, all her core outbursts, everything, the way her whole demeanour changed a lot. Like, I mean, my heart always goes out to the victims, but was she a victim of circumstance? Was she? Or was it just all the emotional and the physical abuse that she had suffered over the years from the hands of these different men? Because she's like, oh, I didn't hate men and stuff, but by the end of it, she's like, oh, I really hate men now. But was that always there anyway? And she just kind of was masking it for a bit. I don't know. I mean, she was it. She's in wherever she is now, but she has been executed. So, because of the abuse that she suffered from a young age and the way that she communicated through sex, did this then manifest and develop later on? Where she felt that she had to kill these men. It's clear from her behaviour that she had no respect for men at all, and she did have a hatred towards them. She also had no moral compass, so to say. She had no remorse either inside, on the insides. Instead, she just shouted abuse at the judge, and it was wrong, that it was wrong to send a woman that had been raped and abused by men to the electric chair. Basically, their execution was wrong, but in a way she wanted to die as well. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below from watching those things then. What do you guys think? Yeah. Wow, it's just so powerful. So remember, please guys, if you are liking these series, then give me a thumbs up. You can also share and subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Come on, tap that button, you want to. Maybe leave a comment down below. Thank you so much. And if you haven't yet, just carry on showing me some support, please. Get subbed. Share this out, please. I would be very, 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 very grateful. I do put a lot of hard work into these, so I would appreciate it. So what do you guys think about Eileen's actions? 7 men is quite a lot of people to murder. Can she be compared to those murderesses in the 1800s, such as Gaul Tafana, who helped abuse women to get out of their abusive marriages by giving the women a arsenic poisoning concoction, of which was untraceable at the time? Was Gaul justified? What do you think? Wow. Do I can't finish all this up just in one part. I'm going to have to do this in 2 parts, guys, because I do not want to get these things to be dragging on for too long. I'd like to still keep your attention. So we will look at some video footage in part 2 as well. We'll take a look at Fred and wife Rose West, who tortured, raped and murdered an unknown number of women over a 20-year period. Fred West was charged with 12 murders but took his own life in Birmingham prison before his trial, while Rose West, now 67 at the time, was convicted of 10 murders in November 1995 and is serving a life sentence. Let's also take a look at serial killers Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, who aided him with his perversions with young children. He would abuse them and then they would murder them and bury them up on the Yorkshire moors in the UK. Myra Hindley was an English serial killer with her partner Ian Brady. She raped and murdered 5 small children. If you're not familiar with this, then hang on, guys. Like I said, we are going to be looking at these in part 2, and also we are going to be taking a look at another female serial killer, but a little bit more unknown, and she is also from the UK too. So let's come back for part 2. Remember guys, please share this out so that we can get some more subs to the channel. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this little first mini-series. This is a part 1 and 2 for the final episode. Come back for part 2. We're going to discuss all of this, much more. The secret killer that you need to hear about if you haven't already. We're going to talk about her in part 2. Thank you so much. This is Horrornormal. I'm Kaz Van D, and I'll see you next time.